Good morning, everybody. It's Misha. It's Wednesday, which for me means it's day to go see my grandson. Makes me so happy. Man, I must have been live for a minute and not even realized it. You guys apologize. I want to talk this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about skin issues, but I was on the phone with my good friend last night. We were talking about her health. Been on the system for a year and a half, has lost 47 pounds, is doing great. But she had some questions for me. So, guys, don't do this to me. But she texted me at 10:30 last night. I didn't see the message until 11, so I hopped on the phone with her. We were on the phone until after midnight, trying to help her out, sort through some things that may be happening with her. She's had a lot of success, but one thing I want to talk about, you guys, insulin resistance affects us in so many ways, and yet other things can affect our insulin resistance as well. So I've talked about the fact that I had my gallbladder yanked out 2 years ago and how much different that's made my life since. And not necessarily in a good way. Like, of course, I'm on the other side of it. I'm talking about all the pain and issues I've had after having that removal. Now, there are a number of things that can happen in your life that have nothing to do with this root cause that exacerbate the insulin resistance. I'm going to be very honest about that. But what I want you to know is, for me, for her, the one constant that we've had is the protocol that we use to get our insulin resistance under control in the first place has been critical in maintaining our health regardless of the other extraneous things going on. So, is it that important? I don't know. For us, it is. And so, is our life perfect? Is anybody's life perfect? No. So, two things. That's one of the things I love about the protocol. I'm going to talk about in a little bit because it helps managing insulin resistance become so much easier in an imperfect world. Look, guys, we are so stressed in this world today, and we do not have the time and effort, just mentally, emotionally, to put into too much more that's going to stress us out, right? That's pretty much a reality for most of us in this fast-paced world we have going on today. Today looks way different than it did even when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm that old. But I want you to know that life doesn't have to always be painful. It doesn't always have to be unsustainable. It can happen and it can be much easier. So I didn't switch it out over here on Facebook. Sorry, guys, but on TikTok, you see me on the left, her on the right, and we've both had great success by getting our insulin resistance under control and understanding what's really going on. So, you see all these things up here: weight loss, bloating. So it should be weight gain if you're having problems with weight loss, and if you put on weight that you just can't seem to get rid of. If you're having weird bloating or swelling, like your joints are swollen. I got to a point where I remember I couldn't see my kneecaps anymore. If you have low energy, if you've been diagnosed with diabetes type 2, but diabetes type 1 could be affected by this as well. If you have PCOS, erectile dysfunction, your cholesterol has gone high, you're having low thyroid problems, you're having high blood pressure, migraines, acne, skin tags, dark skin patches, acid reflux, sleep apnea, all of those relate to insulin resistance. And has anybody connected the dots for all of those things for you before? Because I worked in medical clinics, I worked with several doctors. I am not a doctor, but nobody ever connected all of this when all of that was happening with me. So when I started getting better, and all of that started getting better by addressing my diabetes, which meant I was addressing my insulin resistance, I went on this path of learning why I was getting better, and I started talking to people about it, and now here we are today. So if you guys have been anything like me and you're suffering with any of these things, and there's a number of other things, I have this whole list here, and I forget sometimes. So I had diabetes type 2, that hypertension, hyperlipidemia, I had chronic fatigue. How could I forget that? They diagnosed it as adrenal fatigue back in the day. So I'm mentioning these things because I want you to understand if any of these resonate with you, it could be you, because these are all symptoms of insulin resistance. So if you're having chronic pain or fibromyalgia, if you're having osteoarthritis or edema, neuropathy, diabetic retinopathy, or your eyesight's starting to fail, your hair is falling out. You have allergies that could be affected by this as well. Especially if you're experiencing brain fog, depression, anxiety, they're classic symptoms of insulin resistance. So if you just feel like your life is out of control, you can't seem to get it all under control. You're panicked all the time. You're depressed all the time. You're crying when things shouldn't be making you cry, and you just can't seem to gather a thought. That could be insulin resistance. And it's not, it is, but it's not, it's all in your head, right? So it does. Insulin resistance. Oh, so 928. Look, thank you. So I had hypertension for years. Did you have hypertension before you had the heart attack? I'm going to assume you did, so I'm going to talk, and I'd love for you to share a little bit of your story with me. I'm not a doctor. I can share experiences. I can share what I know, and then you guys get to take that out in the world and decide what you're going to do with it. Yeah. So what I do know, and this is according to doctors and metabolic scientists, I spend a ton of time researching and reading all this stuff. I fall asleep on my couch researching stuff, okay? I fall asleep in bed researching stuff. Anyway, 95% of hypertension is caused by insulin resistance. I just did several videos last week, so go back and watch those on hypertension and some of the ways that it causes insulin resistance is causing it. Now, 80% of cardiovascular disorders, diseases, events happen from long-term hypertension, which leads back to insulin resistance. So this is part of why I'm on here. I wish I could have caught you long before. I wish I would have been able to get this information to you before, and that's earnest. But for everybody else who's listening, if you know somebody, then please listen up and send them over here so they can listen. You guys, I'm so happy to answer questions and help people. You have no idea. But if you get the insulin resistance under control, and so I'm going to say this still applies to you, 928, because if that happened in the past and if your blood pressure still isn't under control, then it's likely that you're going to continue to do damage to your heart. So Woodrow, yeah, we'll go over that in a minute. Woodrow, would you tell me what other symptoms you think you're having? And I'm going to finish addressing this with user 928. So I want you to know, user 928, oh, I have goosebumps, honey. You know, you guys, first, I'm going to stop right now. In my bio, and I will type it in over here on YouTube and Facebook, there's a link, a way to get a hold of me on WhatsApp. If you feel like furthering the conversation, just having the conversation, please get a hold of me. I'm willing to have that conversation with you. So, user 928, ways that insulin resistance is affecting your blood pressure. Okay, let's start. When you have insulin resistance, it affects how your kidneys can get rid of sugar. Or not sugar, salt. So when doctors are saying that we're going to get to all these questions. When doctors are saying to stop the salt, then I want you to understand that's why, because your kidneys are not able to get the salt out into the urine, so it's retaining them. And then wow, you guys, I'll have to come back to all the anyway, you can't get rid of salt. Your blood vessels are thickening up. Your blood vessels can't relax. You're building up cholesterol. All of those are ways that insulin resistance, and I go over those in all the videos. I can come back to that, but that's what's happening. So getting this under control can help to reverse all of that for you. It did for me. My blood pressure is normal every morning now, and it was out of control. I was headed to where you were, user 928. So that's your gut in the picture. That's pretty typical of insulin resistance. And by the way, you don't put on fat unless you have excess insulin in your system. If you want me to explain that, I will. And why does PCOS and insulin resistance give you skin takes? Good, because I'm really here to talk about skin issues today. I was going to talk about acanthosis nigricans, or those dark skin patches on your elbows, knees, and neck. But let's talk about it, because I'm going to be doing this video tomorrow, so you guys just keep watching. All week I'm dropping videos about your skin and insulin resistance. Yesterday I did some on acne, right? Today I'm going to drop a video on acanthosis nigricans, and acanthosis nigricans and skin tags are very closely related. So with skin tags, because that's what you asked me about, and then I'll go back into PCOS. What's happening is your body in this response to excess insulin. I'm going to take it back 2 steps further and say that insulin is a hormone. Insulin is an energy delivery hormone. When we eat, that's creating energy in our system. When we have a lot of energy because it's coming through our system too quickly, we're having excesses of insulin in the system. So insulin is carrying that energy to every part of the body, and some cells start to get resistant to it in response to this inundation of insulin. Other cells are taking it rapidly. That's what's happening, by the way, in your blood pressure. The innermost layer of your blood vessels are taking it up too rapidly. That's how they thicken up. But with skin tags, you have these skin cells called keratinocytes, and they're just like overproducing with this inundation of energy from insulin resultant of the food that we eat, and it causes excess growth of skin in areas that you see pop out as skin tags. Now, I had them on my neck, I had them under my arms, I had them in my groin. I'll show you my neck, I'm not showing you anything else. I don't have any skin tags left. My friend up here, she has been having issues, right? When she talked last night, she's been on the system for a year and a half. Almost all of her skin tags are gone. She had them heavily in her groin. They're gone now, except for 1 or 2, she said. Those will go away as your insulin resistance gets under control. So when you stop the excess production of those skin cells, the skin tags go away. Now, PCOS and insulin resistance. So when you have insulin resistance, ladies, it's affecting how your ovaries, and I've done long videos on that as well, how your ovaries can convert testosterone into estrogen. So every hormone starts out as an androgen, and then parts of that androgen get converted into estrogens, which include your progesterone. Now, when that can't convert, you have an excess of testosterone in ladies. Your ovaries aren't functioning properly. You start having irregular and painful periods because the signaling from the estrogen is not telling your brain when to release luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone at the right times. And so now your periods are all over the place, and you have these eggs that are dying off inside the ovaries, and it's causing things like endometriosis or polycystic ovarian syndrome. So if you can remember, and I want to say this real quick because it's triggering me. Estrogen in normal amounts is like a protector from excess insulin. So if your estrogen levels are down, and ladies, you're not producing enough because of this testosterone conversion being prohibited by malfunction in your ovaries driven by the insulin, now you're more susceptible to insulin resistance. So now you're going to gain weight. You're not going to be able to lose weight. You're going to have brain fog. You're going to have depression. You're going to have anxiety. But at the same time, you have excess hair on your face, but you're losing your hair like male pattern baldness. You just have a lot more male characteristics in some ways, but you have all the excess weight and the depression and the irregular periods and inability to conceive. Insulin resistance. That same thing that's causing the PCOS is what's causing the skin tags in a different action. I hope that makes sense. Very quick. Now, Woodrow, a number of you guys have asked, so I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to talk about the protocol that I did that helped myself and my friend get better and get these results. I was at 270. I have lost 50 pounds. I'm now down to 220. And we'll talk about that later. But so here's this. Now, what all that we have done is we drink a tea in the morning. I have one sitting here with me right now. You'll be seeing me take sips of it. The tea is amazing. By the way, for all of the good morning from Louisiana. Good morning, Jan. So the tea is helping you with energy, it's helping you with mental clarity, it's helping you with the feel-good feelings. There's a number of components naturally occurring in this tea that it's harvested in Argentina. The Argentinians call it the food of the gods. Okay, so I'm 5'6". I'm 5'6". I'm not very tall at all. So This tea gives you mental clarity, it gives you energy, it gives you those feelings of wellness. But what we've discovered, because it was developed as a mental health tool, that it also shuts down your hunger. That's why part of the reason why they call it the food of the gods. Now, by the way, there's a soccer team. I think it's the Argentinian soccer team. Flew in thousands of pounds of this for their team while they were competing at a World Cup. Now, the tea, it not only makes you feel good, it helps you shut down your hunger and helps you burn fat for fuel. We all keep hearing about ketones and ketosis and ketogenic diet, right? When you're doing a little bit of intermittent fasting, which we do on this because we don't need to eat as much as we do, then that tea helps with that ketone production, which then is cueing your body to burn fat for fuel. Now you're getting your energy from your excess fat and not from food. Okay, so that's step one, a tea in the morning. The next step is, before I eat anything, understanding that our food has been modified, I supplement with a fiber and it's not just a fiber, it's a patented blend of 7 different fibers that help reduce my glucose spikes and my insulin spikes by a tremendous amount. And that's what helped me become insulin sensitive and her become insulin sensitive and drop the weight. So it's a tea in the morning, a pre-meal drink twice a day before I eat anything really, and that's it. At first, to go from here to, I was down a little bit further than that, and then I had my gallbladder yanked, so now that stopped my weight loss. We're working on that. But from there to there, I wasn't eating perfect. I had an imperfect life. I was driving for Lyft and Uber. At the end of COVID, I could only find places to get stuff to eat at a random gas station if I could find one, or at Jack in the Box or McDonald's were the 2 places open in my town when everything else was closed. So that's what I had, 1 meal a day. Not gonna lie. Do I recommend it? No. But what I'm telling you is you don't have to be perfect. And what I love about the system that I'm going to show you is you don't have to be perfect. This is not about being perfect. This is not about beating yourself up. No more of that, guys. We've all had enough of it. So a tea in the morning, a drink before I have anything, that helps keep my blood sugars down, helps keep me being satiated. The pre-meal drink, by the way, not only does it help those blood sugar spikes, starts to fill me up before I eat, so I'm less likely to overeat. It keeps me full much longer after I eat because it slows down the delivery of that food into my system. So now I'm staying full longer. Good morning, Tina. I just saw your message. Good morning, good morning. So let's dive in. I promised you guys over on Facebook, I'm going to grab this this link for you real quick and put it, unfortunately, on TikTok. They don't let me put the link in there. They won't show it. So I'm going to give it to you guys over here. On TikTok, I'm going to show you how to get to it. Give me a second here. I forgot I had to get a new keyboard yesterday. If anybody was on yesterday morning over on the other platforms, my keyboard died in the middle of the live stream and I couldn't navigate my computer, so we had to just shut the whole thing off. All right, so over here, click on my picture. That's going to take you to my profile. And when you get to my profile, this is what you're going to see. Not that. This. Okay. So you're going to see my profile right here. You're going to see these 2 red light symbols. Okay. I put them there so that it would be like, hey, here I am, because so many people ask. Right below that is a link. Yours is going to look black. Mine is red. When you click on that link, it's going to take you here. And so when I was talking earlier about, how to get a hold of me, you do need to talk to me. Look, I take messages all day long. Text me before you call because I'm often on the phone, but you can get a hold of me here. I do have a Facebook group. I have a free ebook that will go over. Everybody's welcome to download that at no cost. There's my website, a lot more information about the products, but here's where you're going to order. Tea and 2 fiber drinks before you eat, and this is what it looks like. So, so here it is, you guys. You should see my name at the top, Michelle Fayant, because I am an authorized distributor. And so what that does is it gives you a 90-day money-back guarantee. It gives you a quality guarantee. It gives you a low price guarantee. You don't get those if you're not buying from someone who's authorized. And there are pirated products and whatnot out there. Don't buy from Amazon, eBay, Walmart. None of that's authorized, so you don't get those guarantees. Please don't do that to yourself. So You get 30 of the tea. Here's the thing with the tea. You can have it hot or cold. You get it in lemon or lemon ginger. I would leave it on lemon, your first one. And right now they've been doing these limited edition flavors. The pre-meal drink that you're going to mix up, drink down really quick about 10 minutes before you eat. That's available in this new flavor called Apple Crush. I love it. It's amazing. But the regular flavor is orange. So you get to choose. And then you're just going to come on down and choose between a one-time purchase or monthly. You guys, it is about $5 a day, and we're going to discuss that in a second. It saves you $5 a month if you do it on subscription. I can't tell you how many people I see. Most everybody on my team is on subscription because it's easy to cancel. It's easy to change. It's easy to put off for a month if you need to. I have a few who are on one time, and those blessed souls are buying every month. And I'm like, why? You're spending $15 a month more than you need to. But you also, when you go on subscription, you get this free hand mixer the first month that you buy, which helps you with mixing up the tea and whatnot. So, hi, I'll be right back here. Hi. So you guys, look, with our subscription, the thing is, it's not like normal subscriptions. One of the things I love with the company is that they do give you a 5-day notice before they send out the next batch of products. So you're not there having all of a sudden this fee hit your bank and you didn't know about it. No, they tell you, hey, good news, your subscription is about to be shipped. At that point in time, you have 5 days to decide, do I want to change the flavors up? Do I want to add something? Do I need to move it up a couple of days? Do I want to push it back a couple of days? Do I just want to skip a month because something happened in life? You have or cancel it. You have that opportunity. So there we are. Let's get this back up. Okay, whoops, wrong one. There we are. Okay, so there's that. That's where you're going to get it. And you guys, here's the thing. And the last few days I've been having a lot of people ask me this question also. How much does my coaching cost? Wow. The amazing thing is I love to take care of people, and I don't charge anything for coaching. So like my friend who I saw her message and I knew for her to be texting me that late saying I need to talk to you was probably important. So I took that call at almost 11 o'clock last night, and I was up. I saw the message, so I did it. That's my life, you guys. I'm committed to helping you. And so if you don't want to talk to me, you just want to do the protocol, great. I'm there for that. If you need my help, if you want to kind of like workshop through things, I'm there for that too. And it never costs you a penny. She's been doing this for a year, and she's always had availability to me. That's part of the goal of the system. When you buy on Amazon, eBay, Walmart, you're not getting that kind of care. Okay, nor does the company support those sales. So please be aware of that and understand that you just got to buy from somebody who's authorized. All right, so let's get back to some of these questions, because I know as I was going through that, I missed a bunch of it. You've had all your numbers down, now you gained weight, and you do take metformin. So the other cool thing is, you guys, with the protocol, it's in the prescriber's digital reference. I can show you that if anybody cares to see it. I know it doesn't matter to everybody. Because it's in the prescriber's digital reference, it can be prescribed by your doctor, and there's nothing I need to do for you. You just you just go to your doctor and say, I need a prescription for this. They can look it up, write the prescription. You send that into your insurance, and if your insurance covers it, great. Some insurances have been covering it, so that's a great bonus for you. Prescriber's digital reference means that your doctor can look it up. It's not a medication, it's real food products, but it's some of the only real food products in the prescriber's digital reference. Okay, so in order for that to be there has to be a lot of science behind it, there has to be clinical studies behind it, and then the PDR has to accept it as a viable alternative or a viable modality for it to be in there. If it wasn't viable in their eyes, it wouldn't be in there. Okay, that's a third party who decides to put it in there. We can't buy, beg, or steal our way in. So is it real? Yes. Is it really good for you? Yes. And what you'll find is that there are not any contraindications with any other medications. So If you're on metformin, you can still do this side by side, and as your doctor works with you, you can get yourself off of that metformin. Same thing with like Trulicity, Mounjaro, those things. If you want off those damaging drugs, you can work with your doctor to get off of them. I'm no longer on any heart medications. I'm not on any medications now. All I do is the system. So when we talk about the $5 a day, I'm saving at least $100 a month in copay from all the medications they had me on. And instead of tearing my body down, I'm building my body up. All right, I answered all of those. Flaxseed for fiber. Flaxseed does some good things, but it's one type of fiber. And the science shows that you need more than one source of fiber to help reduce those glucose spikes and do all the things I'm talking about. That's why there's 7 different types of fiber in here, soluble and insoluble. And so I did flaxseed before. By the way, guys, I've tried all of this stuff that these guys come on here and want to say, just do this, just do that. I did all of that. I wasn't getting better. My diabetes was getting worse. I still have flaxseed in my cupboard. I don't use it anymore because there's a number of reasons I'm not going to get into here. But I would prefer to use this simple packet that gives me those 7 different sources and the fibers I need to do what I'm trying to do, okay? So the tea is in my profile that I just showed you. All right. So you guys, berberine, flaxseed, all the stuff that everybody wants to throw at me, great. If that's what you want to do, go do that. But do you know how many people I've had a number of people who started the system and then they started listening to people like that. And they're like, you know what, I'm going to go try it. And within a couple of months, they're back and they're like, Misha, I need to get back on the system. Please forgive me. All that stuff did not work. Okay? So you guys get to do what you're going to do. And for the people that just flaxseed works or just berberine works or whatever, great. But for the rest of us who want a real sustainable life, by adding in those fibers that are protecting us from the negativity that's created in our manufactured and modified food, then let me know. I'm here to help, okay? So I'm talking about having problems with weight gain or weight loss, bloating, low energy, diabetes, PCOS, erectile dysfunction, high cholesterol, thyroid issues, high blood pressure, migraines, acne, skin tags, dark skin patches, acid reflux, sleep apnea. We went over a few of those things earlier. So if you guys have questions with any of those, if you're suffering with any of that stuff, let me know. Every week I go over something different. And I get so lost because I'm doing so many things. This week I am doing skin though. Last week I believe I was doing the blood pressure stuff. Yes, I was. So go back and watch some of those videos on how insulin resistance is causing your high blood pressure if you want a better understanding of what's happening. This week we're talking about skin. So I've already talked about acne. Today I'm going to be talking about acanthosis nigricans or dark skin patches. Look, my elbows used to have dark skin patches. This was that dark brown color all the way down to here. It was rough and scaly. Shirts like this would be catching on it. I was rubbing it with coconut oil, shea butter, all of the things, scrubbing and trying to get it clean, and it wasn't a cleanliness issue. So it was insulin resistance, because once my insulin resistance got under control, my elbows have never looked like that again. This feels like a baby's butt. It's amazing. All right. So bloating and weight loss. So insulin resistance causes inflammation in your system in a number of different ways. And I don't, honestly, you guys, I'm not a doctor or a scientist. I have to refresh my memory on those. The exact mechanism I can't speak to right now, so I will come back to that. But it does cause bloating. Now, how it causes weight gain, and then we're going to get to the high blood pressure. But please go back and look at those videos from last week. I'll go over them again here in just a second. When you have too much insulin in your system, and your body starts to become resistant to it, right? So now you have energy because you've eaten, and we're eating too often, and we're eating food that's converting into sugar too quickly. That's why I use the fibers I use. And are you going to do chia seeds every time before you eat? You may. Go do that if that's what you want to do. But so when that food is converting too quickly, then it's causing excess energy in your system. Insulin is an energy transport hormone. So it's now transporting that energy to all the cells. Every cell in the body needs energy. and the cells are tired of it because they're being inundated with this hormone. So they start to shut down and say no. But insulin still has to carry that energy somewhere. So we have a warehouse in our body, right? The warehouse is our fat cells. So when insulin can't offload that energy anywhere else, it goes, okay, I still have a job to do. And it starts stuffing all of that energy in your warehouse or your fat cells. Now your fat cells are starting to blow up and they're getting bigger and bigger. Now the interesting thing on the other side of that is that it won't show up in your blood sugars as far as your A1C and high blood sugars until those fat cells are starting to get over full. When they're starting to get over full and they're like, I'm going to explode if I take on too much more, then they start to shoot it back out. So think about like a water balloon. When a water balloon starts to get too full, it's either going to pop or you're going to see the water start to spew back out the top. And then I'll talk about visceral fat in a second. And then that's when that energy or glucose ends up back in your bloodstream. Now you see it on your labs. And now, you're diabetic, right? So high blood pressure, you can't get rid of salt, so you're retaining more water. That's increasing pressure. Your blood vessels are thickening up on the inside, reducing the size of the area that pressure can go through. The nitric oxide that we need to help relax those blood vessels up and allow them to allow the pressure through is not being delivered by the body. It's produced by those endothelial cells. And then you are constantly in a little bit of a fight or flight mode. So your cholesterol is, or not your cholesterol, your cortisol is continually elevated slightly, which means that your heart is always working a little bit harder. So more volume, less space to push it through, vessels that won't open up, and your heart is continually trying to pump it through because insulin resistance is causing this cortisol response. Then it affects how you convert cholesterol in your body. It's not the fat you eat, it's how it's converting in your body. And there's a specific type of LDL called the LDL-B, which is a small, dense molecule that gets lodged into your blood vessels and causes those blockages of cholesterol. That's what's happening with your blood pressure, with insulin resistance, and 95% of insulin resistance is caused by blood pressure. So visceral fat. Yeah, it's the same for visceral fat. So actually what happens, and I'm glad that you know the difference. So for everybody else, we actually have two types of adipose or fat tissue on our body. We have subcutaneous fat, which is the white jiggly fat that's like on your arms, on your legs, on everywhere that you just don't like on her tummy, like's going on everywhere there. That's subcutaneous fat. The visceral fat tends to be underneath the muscle wall of the belly. So why is my belly getting flatter? Because that visceral fat is going away. Now my belly's not distended. So you might be thin and have this belly that's poking out. We've all seen it in alcoholics. That's what's happening. They're having this excess visceral fat build up under that muscle wall. Now it's pushing your muscle wall out. That visceral fat can also build up in your neck and in your tongue as well, causing sleep apnea. So what's happening though is with insulin resistance or too much insulin in the system, there's cues that go through to your hippocampus, a center in your brain, and it's telling your body to store more visceral fat. Okay, so now by the way, let's talk about visceral fat really quick, because visceral fat is there because it's healthy for us. You know how babies are like these little chunky roly-poly balls? Because they're not moving around as much. They don't have as much going on. That visceral fat is there as a protection agent for our organs in a normal amount. So now it's called brown fat because it has mitochondria in it. Those mitochondria make that fat warmer. It's cushioning and supporting and warming your internal organs. There's a reason why babies come out chunky and then start to thin out as they get up and get moving. Okay? So insulin resistance is cueing your body to store more of that visceral fat. And now you have that bulging belly. Maybe you have a fat tongue. I was diagnosed with fat tongue. Again, nobody ever told me. They said, just lose weight, it'll get better. Well, okay, that's obvious. But, and how rude. But I didn't know that it was a specific type of fat that was building up that was then causing my tongue to bed to be too thick, and it would fall back in my throat, shut my airway off, and I would wake up 60 times an hour. I no longer suffer with sleep apnea. I'm not on medications, you guys, not a single medication. I do not like medications, so as soon as I could get off of them, I did. So did that help you guys? Did that help answer some of the questions you have? Dorset slimming would help. Corset slimming. So let's talk about corset slimming. Corset slimming, yes, it can reshape your body, right? It's not going to affect your visceral fat. Okay. Also, some doctors are warning about corset slimming. With these ladies who are trying to like drastically change their shape, your internal organs are all in there. So if you took something and you started to squeeze it every day, yeah, it's going to take a different shape. So I'm going to explain it, okay? So no, corset slimming does not affect your visceral fat. And in fact, over time, that corset slimming is starting to rearrange your organs, which can cause some problems there as well. So I don't do that. Have I worn like it's not I wouldn't call it a corset, but have I worn something to help my body reshape after being so big? Yeah, but do I do that whole corset like thing? Yeah, nope, I don't. And do I expect that to help with my visceral fat? No, no. Um, yeah, cheating never wins, and it actually causes more problems than it's good. So the product, you guys just go to my profile and click on the button. You'll find it there. It's all there, and so I lost my tea. How in the heck? On my desk. I probably threw it somewhere. Yes, I did. I get crazy excited. Okay, so this is what I do in a day: a tea in the morning and a pre-meal drink before I eat my first two biggest meals. I will talk about the 6 simple slimming world diet. I don't know about slimming world diet. It's not one I've dove into. You guys, I don't know all about everybody else's stuff. So we can go over what I do eat right now, okay? So we all know that I have my tea in the morning for energy, for clarity, to help my ketones, to help me be in a fat burning state in the morning. By the way, the energy you feel when you finally get to burn your own fat for fuel is amazing. I have so many people comment about that. Then I have these before my first two biggest meals. So what I will normally eat, like yesterday, what I ate for my first meal was I had steak and eggs. So I'm just a single person. I buy a lot of my stuff from Costco and then freeze it. So they have this amazing sirloin steak that's already pre-marinated, and the marinade doesn't have a lot of carbohydrates in it, but it's pre-sliced. So I just take some of those slices, put them in a fry pan, warm them up, cook a couple of eggs. That's my breakfast. I will usually add a pear on the end of that. So the fruits I love are pears because they're high in chlorogenic acids, they're high in fibers, they're lower in fructose, and hey Jackie, they're lower in fructose and the converting glucose. So pears are amazing. I try to eat one a day. And then behind pears would be berries. You guys can just find yeah, it's FGS, but you just find it in my profile. So if you really are interested in the product, just go to my profile. These are the packets. And I don't, you guys look at, here's the thing, all honesty, let's be super honest. And I don't talk about it in here because then what happens is people will go like look at Amazon or whatever. You're going to do that anyway if you're going to do that, but you're doing yourself a disservice. So just go to my profile. I have a website that tells you all about the product. Just go find it, and you'll learn all about it by going to my website. You'll learn all about it by going to there. I can show you the PDR. I'm not trying to hide anything, but I've just learned that I just don't name drop, okay? Because I'm here to help people, and I'm not name dropping. So heal, I don't understand that one. It is unicity, yes. All right, guys. For those of you guys who missed it, I'm talking about skin issues this week. In the meantime, if you're having issues with any of these things up here, let me know. We'll discuss it. If it's helpful to you, great. And then, oh yeah, before we talk about the skin issues, you guys want to know, you asked about what I eat. Sorry, I got distracted by the comments. That's my life. All right, so steak and eggs was my breakfast yesterday, and a pear, right? Dinner then was, they call it marry me chicken, but I sauteed some spinach and some mushrooms, and then I sauteed spinach, and then I made this sauce with heavy cream. I do not buy anything that's milk product outside of 100% real butter with 100% milk fats and heavy cream, okay? Because when they start taking the fat out of it, you're left with a whole bunch of carbohydrates, and we're trying to avoid that. I also don't do almond milk or oat milk or any of that stuff. I just don't. I do whole cream or I do coconut milk. Okay, those fats are not causing your problem. Oh, okay. So thank you for that. So N is on the system. She's down 97. I'm gonna screenshot this, okay? She's down 97 to 92.7 kilograms from 106 in 9 weeks. Amazing. Hormonal weight gain lately, muscle aches and nerve pain and spasms everywhere, vertigo and sleep. Amazing. Okay, so hormonal weight gain. You guys, this is super important. I'm 59 and I'm postmenopausal. That means my hormones are jacked, right? We just talked about how, you guys, I didn't finish the meal. Let me finish that, then I get so distracted. So the meal last night was some chicken. I slice it up and then I cook it in this heavy, I saute it, and then I put this heavy cream sauce on everything. So spinach, mushrooms, some fresh tomatoes, a little bit of Parmesan, this heavy cream sauce with some spices and chicken. That was my dinner. And I had a croissant with it, sop up all that sauce. Amazing. Like, I don't have to not have them. I try to limit them. Okay, so hormonal. As I said before, estrogen is a protector from insulin, excess insulin. So when you're starting to age, ladies, and your estrogen levels are starting to go down naturally because you're not producing as much, you start to have problems, and they do call it hormonal weight gain. But here's the kicker. When you have insulin resistance, it's affecting how your body can convert testosterone or androgens into estrogen. So now, even if you have enough hormones, your body's not converting enough into the estrogens that are already lessening, and now you have a problem. Yeah. So thank you, Anne. So with hormonal weight gain, that's part of what's happening. Your estrogen is being downregulated because your body's just not putting out as much, and then your body can't convert it in the presence of insulin resistance because your ovaries are defunct. Okay, insulin resistance is causing a lot of problems in the ovaries. That's how young ladies end up with PCOS. Ladies who are aging have more hormonal problems than ever because of insulin resistance. I was insulin resistant since probably my early 20s, my late teens, and nobody caught it until I'm in my 50s. Now I have a whole lifetime of damage done to my body that I'm working to repair. Okay, so all right, so there's that hormonal weight gain. What was the other thing you said? Muscle aches, nerve pain, spasms everywhere. Okay, so with insulin resistance, you're not getting energy to your muscle tissue, and most of us are not getting enough protein. So you're having some muscle problems. But insulin resistance, interestingly enough, just like it's causing problems in your blood vessels, it's causing problems in your nerve pathways. Now, what happens is those nerve pathways are supposed to link up and fire to each other, and they're not. Instead of firing one to the other, they're firing everywhere in between. Okay, so now you have some numbness, but you have nerve pain. You have all this going on because insulin resistance is impeding how those nerve pathways work. That, if you catch it, can start to reverse for you. My edema, my neuropathy all went away. I don't have the pain and tingling in my feet and hands anymore. I don't have the constant pain and tingling in this right arm that I had that was making it difficult to hold a glass of water anymore. That all does start to get better as those pathways start to get better. Fibromyalgia, they're finding that a majority of fibromyalgia is linked to a number of these pathways. When they can't figure out, I worked for a doctor, it was so funny. She was like, fibromyalgia is a BS diagnosis. They're just throwing it on people when they don't understand what's happening and they can't figure out why people have body-wide pain. Insulin resistance is causing that. So for most people, I'm not going to tell you that it causes it for everyone, so let's be careful with that. But for most people, it can be insulin resistance. So here's the thing. Just like Anne said, she's gotten better, and thank you, Anne, for your story. Thank you so much. You do start to feel better. And when you start to feel better and you start to notice that your nerve pathways are working better and that visceral fat is going down, and like I pick up a 50-pound suitcase, the amount of what I like when I travel, every time I have to carry a big suitcase and you weigh it and it can't be over 50 pounds, I'm like, holy mother of God, that's how much I used to carry excess on my body every single day. But look, so here's the thing, and then vertigo and sleep. Let's talk about those in a second. What I want to stop and say is, you guys, if you're interested in the protocol that we're using, that we use, that Ann used, that Jackie's using, just go to my profile, and here's the thing, you get a 90-day money-back guarantee. So what I encourage people is, if you want to do this, commit to yourself for 90 days, okay? Just make that commitment going in. I didn't see, like for me in my journey, I had better mental clarity, my blood pressure was going down, but the thing that I was focused on, that we're all focused on, the weight, I didn't lose any for the first 6 weeks. I was kind of mad. And I realized through understanding what was happening with my body in muscle and fat, that I was actually losing size. I just wasn't losing weight. So for me, when I was this size, I had gone out and I was like, oh yes, I'm going to get to wear some cool clothes. I don't have to look like this anymore. And I bought this pair of jean shorts, the ripped up, really cool little like jean shorts, old lady though, because they have longer legs. And I was so excited to wear them, but I bought them too small. I couldn't even get into them when I bought them. Within 4 weeks, I went and got those because my weight on my scale wasn't changing, and I hadn't taken measurements at the beginning. What was I thinking? But those shorts went from being too tight to being loose in most areas and fitting around the waist, because my waist was already coming down. By the time summer actually came around, the shorts were too loose. I forced myself to wear them 3 times because I'm like, I bought them, they're cool, I want to wear them. And then I was like, I can't do this. They're just hanging off of me, so I gave them to a friend. So you're gaining lean muscle when you do a healthy system like this, but you're losing the fat tissue. So that always doesn't always translate to weight on the scale, but understand that you are losing the fat you're looking to lose. At the same time, you're gaining lean tissue that you need to have. Anne started because she has insulin resistance, and it's the best money she's spent in her life. I think I read that one. Thank you. Haven't had any pains in your hands or feet since about 2 weeks after starting on the Feel Great system. And can't believe, yeah, you guys, it's crazy. And I know we're all, uh-oh. I've shut myself off, you guys. It's crazy because look, when I started, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this is real, but I was in such a state where like my health was failing and I just knew I had to change something. And so I tried it because it had the guarantee. And I'm like, well, at least it has this guarantee. And if it doesn't work, at the end of 30 days, I'm going to have tried something, but I'll get my money back. And I was one of those people. I'm going to get my money back because nothing works for me. It's now 2 years later. It's the one thing I will never go without again. And how do you feel about it? But, all right, so I said we were going to talk about sleep apnea and what's the other thing that you brought up, hon? Yeah, so Diana, it could be, so there's a couple of things that could be fibromyalgia. There is some nerve damage in the spine that can cause fibromyalgia. So I'm not gonna say that that's not real. But for the majority of us, this fibromyalgia, this pain throughout our body, happens to be because of the insulin resistance and the way it's affecting our nerve firing and a number of other things, energy not getting to places, all of that. So mine has gotten, like, I don't have that. You guys, I used to take either Hydro, Norco, Tylenol, or muscle relaxers, and I would cycle between them because I didn't like to be on pain meds. But I was in so much pain, and I had sleep apnea, and I had all this stuff that if I didn't do something, I would not sleep. Now my cortisol is up. Now I'm having even more problems. So I was on those medications to try and just help me deal with the pain I was in. I've had like 20 broken bones, 130 inches of scarring across my body. I don't take any pain medications. I've not refilled any of those. No muscle relaxers, no leg cramps every morning, none of that. Every once in a while, I get a headache from allergies, environmental allergies. I'm in a new place. I might take some Tylenol for that. That's it. That's it. I'm not on any of those medications. Not for my blood pressure, not for my thyroid, not for my allergies, none of it. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, you made a second subscription, and I did that at first. I just was getting one a month, and then you guys, because it's real food products, like there's 2 teas in this, and I will carry this mug around with me all day. You can have the tea all day. I regularly have the tea in the afternoon or even in the evening, and it doesn't impede my sleep. Um, yeah, because menopause and the estrogen. So I am now on some hormone replacement because I'm tired of fighting this. Um, and insulin resistance and those hormones play together. Um, when they're working well, they play very nicely. When they're not, it's horrible. Um, yeah, I had been given metformin and I was just despondent. I was like, okay, I hadn't found this yet. I tried the metformin. It made me sick. And yeah, it's called BioSlife S in Australia. Same packaging, a little different name. We are available in about 30 countries worldwide. I was trying to check yesterday to see, and I've got to fix that, see if we're available in more countries now because they're continually opening up new countries. And it's not about us. We're working as hard as we can to get this available to as many people as possible. But it does have to do with the countries and their regulations and what they allow in or not. So, do you have that link, Jason? Are you checking to see how many countries we're in? Because there's a weird thing with my login now, and I just need to fix it. Years ago, it almost was better. Good morning, Jason. By the way, Jason's picture's not up here, um, but everybody should know Jason. And if you don't follow him, follow him. Jason has lost over 160 pounds now. He's been a warrior on this. His doctor was trying to prescribe him all kinds of medications, including trying to have him go have that gastric surgery to lose weight. Jason started out at almost 400 pounds, and he's now down to like 290, probably a little less than that now. His A1C went from like 13.3, and it should be in normal range here soon. He's been on the system for just over a year now. So it's not just me saying this works. There are so many people out there who are saying it works. And it's interesting because I got a message here on TikTok that was somebody was like, well, this must be selling like hotcakes. There's so many of you guys talking about it. Yeah, because every person that I help starts to go, oh, this is amazing. And I want to share it with my family and my friends. And I want to share it with the world. And I want to help people too. So why wouldn't we share it with people when it's working and it's changing lives? Of course we want to share it. Um, so Jason, let me know when you have that number. You guys, I am about done for this morning. I've got several meetings booked this morning. Remember, if you need to talk to me, please use my link in my profile. I'm going to go over that one more time. I do respond. You guys. So just get the help you need. And if you have specific questions for me, let me know. Otherwise, join me back at 3. We're in Indonesia now. See, there's always countries opening up. We're working on many, many countries. Again, we have applications in, and some of it with some people, with some countries, like it being BioSlife in Australia. we just have to follow their recommendations for packaging and all that stuff to make sure that you have it available. Thank you, Crafty. So I'll be back at 3 this afternoon, and you guys, as I get things in order, I am doing my best to be here at the right time. I think we're working through all the technology issues that were coming up. So 8:30, between 8:30 and 9, I'm really trying to get here at 8:30 in the mornings. I created a whole list of stuff that I have to do in the morning to make sure I'm on time for you guys. And then I'm here at 3. 50 countries now. That's amazing. I haven't looked at the date. So we started out last year at 20 countries. Earlier this year we were in 30. We've now opened up in 50 countries. So Jason, will you shoot me that list? My login is not working for some reason and I don't have the brain space to deal with it. But 50 countries worldwide now with the Feel Great system. You guys, and I want to talk about that as I'm going to go over where to find it again. It's available from a distribution center near you. This is not coming from the US all the time. We have distribution centers here. We have 2 of them here in the US. We have one in Canada. We have one in the South Pacific. We have one in the UK. We have one in the UAE. We have them all over the place. So wherever is nearest to you is where it's going to come to you from. And that really is dependent on where in the world you are. By the way, the link that you see when you go to my profile, that, yes, one in Singapore too. Thanks, Ed. So that link works on your IP address. So it doesn't matter if you're in Australia, if you're in Ireland, if you're in France, if you're in UAE, if you're in any of those countries, it will work for the country you're in and open up the site that's appropriate for you. So you'll see your pricing, you'll see all of that there. But to get to that link, and I have customers all over the world, and I would love to build a base. Why am I messing with my camera, expecting it to change when, let's drop this down. All right, there we are. You guys, some days, I just doubt myself. All right. So when you get to TikTok, this is the link, okay? Right under my picture, you see the 2 red lights. And yes, my hair changes all the time, so I was going to change that picture, but screw it, it's staying for now. Click on that link. Then it's going to take you to this page. This very top one is where you want to order it. By the way, notice the other things there. My website, again, tons of information on my website. My story in full, or as full as it's going to get right now, is there. The free ebook with the 6 simple steps, which I haven't gone over, I will go over this afternoon. The Facebook group that I have, we're putting recipes in there, trying to start some conversation and help you guys in there. The WhatsApp, all of that's there. But also my recommendations, the books I read to get my information from the doctors who know what they're talking about are all in here. The glasses I wear, the tools I wear for ketone testing, all that stuff. All right, to order it, you're just going to go there. Make sure it says Michelle Fayon at the top. Then you click on Buy Now. That's going to link you to me. When I see that, I send out texts, I send out emails, I send out a video to help you get started. And then we start the conversation about how we're going to get your health taken care of. A tea in the morning, a pre-meal drink before you eat anything. The tea, hot or cold, and you don't have to gulp it down. Comes in lemon or lemon ginger. The pre-meal drink comes in apple crush or orange. I've been recommending to people to just get the apple crush because it's not around for long. You can get the orange anytime. Then I would leave it on the monthly subscription. You're going to save yourself $15 a month. So $159 is the cost. $154 if you put it on subscription, but you also don't pay shipping. So for me, that totals about $15 plus on subscription. You get the free hand mixer. And you just never run out, okay? So I do have extra kits around all the time now because I never want to run out. Like Ann said, I never want to be without the product. And I started to say, because I'm so distracted, that you can have it more than the once and the twice in the afternoon. So my big example is I went to Texas a few years back to visit a beautiful friend. And she wanted to take me to all these amazing places. And so we stopped for appetizers here. We had to stop at Buc-ee's in Texas. That's where she took me. I was like, what is this place? But we had to try out all these little treats. You're in some place, you want to try it, right? This is not the time when you're like having to be overly restrictive and be like, gee, I wish I could, but I really can't. No! Heck, I just packed extra balance, and every time she took me someplace, we had one, we tried it out, enjoyed my life, went back to real life when we were done. I had like 6 a day when I was with her, between stopping at these places, having appetizers, waiting for friends, and then finally ordering our dinner an hour later, and then having drinks later. By the way, you can have it before drinks. It's not going to dampen your buzz, but it will help you with the hangover. And it will help slow down those alcohol sugars too. Yeah, drinking your second Unimorate. Yes, it has correct pricing. And where are you from? It does have correct pricing for each country as well. You guys, the reason we do see so many people talking about it is because it works so well. And look, if 93% of us are metabolically unhealthy, and that means that we need to get our insulin under control, amazing. I'm so glad. I hope that this takes off in Australia, and that you help people, because I hear and New Zealand. I know it's not the same, but you guys are close. Australia and New Zealand, I really hope you guys get taking off, because it really changes lives, and I know there's similar issues there as there is in the U.S. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna head to these meetings. I will see you all at 3 this afternoon, and Britt, Alexa, and Dana. Oh, okay. Good. So, you guys, wherever in the world you are, it's likely we can get it to you, unless you're in a country that we're having problems getting it in. And just know that you don't have to suffer. You don't have to go through all the crazy hoops and jumps to take care of your health. We've heard from a couple of people, how much weight did I lose? Sorry, Nazy, I didn't see that. I lost 50 pounds. And I'm 59, full on in menopause, had some other things. So when I started, I had a history of PCOS. I had Hashimoto's hypothyroid. I was postmenopausal. I've had I don't even know how many surgeries. So lots of trauma across my body. And so, yeah, losing 50 pounds at that point was, I would have never imagined. It made me want to cry, because I had tried. You guys, I was in the gym before my body broke down. I was in the gym 6 days a week, 3 hours a day, and I still couldn't lose the weight. I keep promising. This afternoon, I'll bring one of my pictures from World Championships, and you'll see that even doing keto during those years, working out like I was working out, I still was not able to get down. I was still considered a super heavyweight. And yeah, I still couldn't get the weight off, and my body was still out of control. Even with all of that going on, I still had all the symptoms. So getting my insulin resistance under control and having the life back has been amazing. And cancer patient, yeah. So I'll talk a little bit this afternoon about fasting. Helps you regulate going to the bathroom. It's freaking amazing. Yes, all over multiple benefits. That insulin resistance causes so many gastrointestinal disorders. Now, the intermittent fasting we do does help a little bit, but extended fasting, which I've done multiple times, helps reduce the chance of cancer. So one thing I'm going to say, I'm not going to tell you that this is going to cure cancer, but I want you to understand, when we're constantly fed and we constantly have junk cells in our body that need to go away and they're not allowed to go away, that's part of what's causing cancer. So when we can stop this overeating, when we can allow insulin levels to become normal so our body can start to utilize things and not have these anaerobic spaces or these defunct spaces in our body, it reduces the likelihood of people getting cancer. You add some extended fasting on that, now you're getting rid of those junk cells, and you're just giving yourself, a little bit more armor against that whole problem. So recovering cancer patient, I'm sorry that she had to go through that. I don't know what kind of cancer it was. You guys, insulin resistance, though, is linked to, these cancers are linked to insulin resistance. Breast cancer. Ladies, you have 6 times more insulin receptors in your breasts than anywhere else in your body. When they're defunct, there's a reason why so many ladies with breast cancer have insulin resistance. Okay. Um, Prostate cancer, ovarian cancer, bladder, colon, anything that's in this area that is having cancer is linked to insulin resistance. So when we're talking about skin cancer, not so much, right? But any of those internal organ cancers, those are highly linked to insulin resistance. So again, take care of the insulin resistance and have a much better life. Yes, yes, absolutely it is. I've been encouraged to not talk about it so much because it is a very volatile topic, but I'm sorry. If there's knowledge like that that can help people, I'm gonna say something. So you will listen. I'm doing right now. We'll talk about it more this afternoon if anybody wants to. But I did a 5-day fast a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm doing a every other day fast for a month. So yesterday I had an eating day. Today I'm having a fasting day. Now, are you required to do that to be on the protocol? No. But let's remember, I've lost my gallbladder. I've lost 3 joints. I'm postmenopausal. I have hormonal issues. I'm at that age where you start having those cancers. I don't want to go through any more of that stuff. So I'm going to do some intermittent fasting to help my body clean up from the damage that's been done over the 40 or so years that it was being damaged. Okay. So yes, I'm going to implement fasting a little bit heavier right now in my life than I would think is necessary for most people. So my day looks like I stopped eating at 7 yesterday, 7 this morning. I'm now 14 hours into a fast at about 24 hours, which is 7 o'clock tonight. Not only am I in a great fat burning stage, which is amazing. Yes, crafty, I am. And my ketones are staying higher. I feel amazing. And we'll talk about it a little bit now. But we'll talk about it more this afternoon. I love Jennifer, by the way. She is, we don't talk to each other all the time, but she has been one of my besties in this whole thing all along. She's amazing. So about 24 hours, your autophagy really starts to kick up, and now you're having this great space of being able to get rid of some of those junk cells, really clean the body up, help the liver regenerate. Because remember, I lost my gallbladder. That means that I had already done a ton of damage to my liver before I ever found the system. So now the more I learn, the more I'm like, oh shoot, I need to support my liver in getting healthy. I need to support that turning around if I want to have a healthy, productive life from here on out. So yes, I'm implementing some fasting. Now, between hours 24 and 36, I have a great amount of autophagy going on. The cellular cleanup is happening. Those gut cells that need to be changed are cleaning up. I'm using the restroom more regularly, so I don't have as much of the IBS urgency, devastating issues. And for me, with ADD, so Jen and I both have ADD. One of the things we talked about with this is it helps with my impulse control. Thank you. It's like I found it, and it's getting cold out here, and I saw it and I'm like, I just want to wear this a few more times before it gets too cold for it. So thank you. But with ADD, we suffer from some impulse control. So with that, what I'm finding on this fast, I think I'm 2 days. I didn't hear about it from Jen until she'd already been doing it for 2 days. I find that on a day like today, it's easy for me to go without eating. Number one, it's only 1 day. That's much easier to get through than a 5-day, a 7-day, or a 10-day fast, which I've done all of those as well. I have to do a lot of mental preparation for those. This is easy. I stopped eating at 7. I won't eat again until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, I'll start my day. I've been making some recipes using those healthy fats, heavy cream, coconut milk, and our complete protein, and maybe some fruits or something in there, sometimes avocado. But I make these shakes that are extremely higher in fat and protein. And then I start my day with that, and then I have the reasonable meals the rest of the day, I'm super full, I'm super satiated, and then the next day I fast again. So we're gonna see how that goes, but so far I've noticed that my ketones stay higher. That means my body is leaning more into metabolic flexibility, that I'm able to access more of those fat cells and those junk cells that I need to go away. And I feel more mental energy. I feel more clarity. Like this morning, I was up until 1 talking to a customer. And so I was going to I set all my morning alarms off because I get up at 5. Just like, I'm going to wake up later. I'm going to give myself some rest. I still woke up at 6 and I was like, I have energy. Let's get up and go. So the fasting has helped with that. You do not get more tired when you're fasting like that. You actually find you have more energy. So let's talk about it this afternoon if anybody's interested. And I really totally believe in it for the purposes of helping stave off cancer, especially if you've already had it. Yeah. By the way, chemo actually causes more problems with insulin resistance. It's a necessary evil right now, but let's talk about that too. And your skin. We'll see you back at 3. Thanks you guys all for hanging out, and we'll see you later today. Bye. Bye, guys.